welcome to our first webinar from Your Holistic Academy. My name is John Donnelly, if anyone doesn't know me, and I want to introduce you to the R.A.I.S project and to the panelists alongside me here for the R.A.I.S project. So in the top corner we have Kenny Faulkner. Hi Kenny.
Hello. Hi John, how are you?
Good, Kenny. And we have Kiera. Hi Kiera.
Hi guys.
We have Una McGoey. Hi Una.
Hi everyone.
And we have Vivian McKinnon. Hi Vivian.
Hello everybody.
Okay. So the Your Holistic Academy, so the objectives of Your Holistic Academy, first of all, is a support platform for holistic therapists to promote their services. So where did the Academy come from? What are the aims and objectives? The Academy was founded about, I guess it's about 2 months ago now. And the basic strategy for this is a business platform and a support platform for holistic service providers, but it's also a business platform for people to collaborate on opportunities between therapists and allow for more evolved programs. We also have opportunities to apply for contracts that individual therapists wouldn't necessarily be in a position to apply for. So the collective opportunity brings a greater reach, a greater opportunity. We also provide therapists with courses, information, tips, and skills in business operations. So we've got a whole business community that's part of this platform. Right across project management, social media, sales and marketing skills, professional business mentors, life coaches. We've got a whole host of business services available to the holistic providers on this platform. We're going to provide high quality health and holistic and wellness programs to the public who have an interest in this area, and the health and well-being economy is pretty vast. Because of the online space, we have a global reach with the platform. We've got a global audience. Like even today, we've got people on here from Australia. We've got people from the UK. We've got people from Ireland, obviously, and we could have a few from God knows where else on this platform today. So the R.A.I.S project is the first project that from the Your Holistic Academy, and it's part of the Fluid Human series. If you want to move that on a bit, Vivian.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So the R.A.I.S project is our first project to present as the Your Holistic Academy is presenting this this project, and the R.A.I.S project was developed about 6 weeks ago with the collaboration of 4 of our holistic practitioners, and the 4 are on the panel, and they're going to talk a little bit later about the R.A.I.S project. Okay, so I guess at this point we could probably who's first to speak about the R.A.I.S project? Okay, Kiera, yeah. Okay, Kiera. Oh, we're going to play the video first, yeah.
Yeah.
So the R.A.I.S project that we're actually working on is a project based on emotional intelligence. It is around helping people to completely and holistically educate themselves in how best to show up in life.
We all need awareness of who we are, how we act, how we react in this busy world, both in our personal life, our business life, our social lives. And it's just this awareness that we're allowing the clients to come and see. It's for business owners who maybe are not making the decisions that they need to make quickly, clearly, concisely. It could be the sports person who wants to push themselves to the next level, but the mindset isn't in place. It's all to do with the mindset of the individual and how we can adapt in this world to become the best version of us possible.
We wanted something that would help people So it's raise their vibration, raise their health, raise their well-being, raise their emotional intelligence. Whatever it is, we can adapt, raise. And it's lifting people, supporting people. I suppose now going through this pandemic and getting ready for when we come out the other end, because it's not going to be the same. It's never going to be the same. So it's helping people adapt with the changes and supporting them along their journey.
We have this thing in society where we think people are broken and people need fixed. And I think the core message and the fluid theme that will be through the R.A.I.S Project is you're perfect just as you are. That every single experience you've had has led you to be where you are right now. And it's to really nurture that side of yourself and to really look to that true authentic part and look around exploring that free within, within the safety of your own home, and to really look at this is where you are now, that's where you've previously been, but where would you actually like to go? And how do you think you would be able to get there?
You're going to have an awareness of who you are right now. You're going to have an awareness of everyone around us has a different opinion. And what you're going to do is harness your own strength within. You're going to harness your own strength within you for you to move forward to where you want to be. And it's quite like if you use an app on the phone, like Google Maps, you know where you want to go. And the first question Google Maps will ask is for your location. So when you know your location, when you realize where you are right now, you can then set your plans, you can then set your focus on where you want to go.
So we feel that it's important to get this content out there to bring people together in our particular current circumstances and to give them that support and that knowledge and that awareness so that they can feel more connected during our current times and so that they can grow and they can learn and come out the other side with new skill sets.
I am really looking forward to seeing the changes that we can support you to make, but also looking forward to seeing people just trying things on, to looking at things from a completely different perspective, to give them that opportunity to see how life might actually be should they give themselves the chance.
So I'd love if you could join us for our first introductory workshop on our R.A.I.S project. And in that workshop, we'll be covering off what R.A.I.S stands for. And we'll be covering off resilience, our adaptability, our inspiration, our self-awareness, and finally then our empathy. So this is a great chance for you to find out more about how we can support you in these challenging times. We'll be giving you loads of tools and techniques to help you. And we really look forward to helping and supporting you on these challenging but exciting times.
This whole programme has been developed with you in mind, with the individual, but we're also looking to go to the corporate market. This is a chance to get in and experience these sessions as part of a pilot. What's not to love? Look forward to seeing you then.
Okay, so we now have the okay, can we switch that, Vivian? Yeah. So we now have the individual presenters of the R.A.I.S project who are going to talk to you about a little bit more about the project. Yeah. So I think, Kiera, you're up first.
Hi guys, it's really good having you all here. My name is Kiera and now that you've watched that video, I'd like to give you a little bit of information around what each one of us are doing. So I'm going to speak about what I'm going to be delivering over the course of the 5 weeks. So the first part I'm going to be talking about a little bit will be about resilience. And for me, when I look at resilience, it's something that comes up in karate. I teach karate and I do it at quite a decent level. And we talk about fall down 7 times, stand up 8. And it's something that I think is really, really important. One of the key elements to emotional intelligence. So resilience is actually defined as the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties. And when we're in karate, we're teaching the kids and we're teaching the adults all the time about toughness, about the ability to rise after you've fallen, and how important it is to cultivate that inside yourself, and that no matter what comes in your path or what happens, you have the ability to rise really, really strong, regardless of what happens to you or for you. The other thing that I'm going to be covering will be adaptability. So in my profession and in my career, I work with people who are looking to find their genius, to uncover their big visions, and to be able to create them and bring them to life. I work with creative entrepreneurs who maybe feel a little bit stuck, maybe feel a little bit uncertain, maybe are unsure how to get themselves to the next level. And while they want to, there's a little bit of apprehension in the change that it's going to take. And adaptability is all about change. It's all about understanding that regardless of the learned notions that you have, the preconceived ideas, the beliefs that you have, the truths that you have, the values that you have, and all of the things that you think you stand for, when new information arises, when a new situation arises, when you have to approach something in a different way, you're allowed to do that. It's part of this adaptability piece. You're allowed to change. And I think a lot of the time we feel that when we're given these patterns, when we're given these ideals or ideas or beliefs or truths, we actually can't change who we are. We can't become different. We can't adapt because we're being seen as a specific way by the outside world, by society. And by being seen in that way, that's the way that we have to show up. But really, we can change and we can adapt in any situation, in any circumstance, in any area of our lives, whenever we want to. We have this incredible ability, this human ability to choose to change. So I'm going to be covering adaptability in 3 different areas. In life in general, in all kinds of situations that come up. And hopefully over the course of the workshop and the series, you'll feel like you can ask questions. And maybe you want to drop into the chat box if anything is coming up for you that you'd like some help with. I'd be more than happy to help with that. In your career, so regardless of what situation you're in, whether you're working or not working, whether you're trying to take on a new challenge or thinking about doing something completely different, we're going to work through what adaptability looks like in all of these different work situations. And in your relationships. And this one is really, really powerful because when you understand that you're allowed change, that you're allowed adapt, that you yourself have the choice, that you can change in any section of your life that you want, and you can apply that to every other area, your relationships will grow exponentially. You'll have the most fantastic life because you're actually allowing yourself to adapt to every situation that comes up. So I'm really, really excited to bring these 2 pieces to you over the course of the next week, 5 weeks. And I'd like to hand you over to Vivian now for her to cover what she's going to cover. But beforehand, I'd really like to ask you a question. How do you think that you can adapt in your life, in your situation right now? If you were to look at one thing, what would it be? I'll hand over to you, Vivian. Thanks a million, everyone.
Thank you, Kiera. Thank you. That was a great question to end on. I have written myself some notes because when we decided to develop this and we had this idea of having an introductory webinar, we were all said that we would have 5 minutes. So any of you out there who know me will know that 5 minutes, because sometimes 5 minutes just to tell you my name. So my name is Vivian McKinnon. I am a cognitive behavioural therapist. I am a clinical hypnotherapist. I'm a master practitioner in neurolinguistic programming, timeline therapy and hypnosis. I am a havening practitioner and I'm also a havening training facilitator. I am a spectrum performance and emotional coach. I am a laughter yoga instructor. I am an auricular acupuncturist. I am the regional coordinator for Smart Recovery. I am the programme coordinator for Your Holistic Academy. I am an author. I am a multi-award winning international public speaker. My proudest achievement so far is I am the founder and owner of R.A.I.S, which is Northern Ireland's only dedicated flotation centre. So when we looked at the R.A.I.S project and we looked at I meaning inspiration, I was just like, oh, I'm inspired all the time. I just have to breathe and I'm inspired. I'm inspired by so many different things. But the thing is, my life wasn't always this way. So when I grew up, I had lots of adverse childhood experiences. I lived with a parent who struggled with compromised mental health and was using addictions to cope. I had lots of different experiences throughout my life, but when I was 29 years old, I almost died through one of the experiences I had. In 2004, I had another experience in a float tank, and that inspired me to the point of such a profound experience that still to this day I struggle to really say what that was. I'm continually inspired by my own abilities. I'm continually inspired by challenging myself on the things that I think I shouldn't do. But then I always think, you know, I think everyone dies with regrets, and I know that when I pass, I want to regret the things I did do, because then you know the answers. And sometimes I think it's not knowing, it's that not knowing, and having that belief of what's the worst that would happen. Change that. What's the best that could happen? Because the best thing that could happen is you could be inspired to do something else. So I'm a trauma and addiction therapist. I support people to understand their experiences, to release the emotional component from the memories they're harvested within that could be holding them back. I help people to use the skills and the tools within their life that they already have to create the life that they desire. I work with people who are struggling to connect from within. I work with people who lost their sense of self. My role is to inspire. So I'm really looking forward to week 3 of the RAISE series. So suppose inspiration to me is what Zeus is to Greek mythology. To inspire and to be inspired is one of life's greatest gifts. So many people and so many things have inspired me, and I love that feeling. I love that ability to have something else. You know, inspiration is not like a bolt of lightning that comes and then it's away again. You know, it's once you're inspired, it's opening your eyes, and it's having that ability to be able to use that inspiration to move yourself forward. In this series, I will inspire you. To be introduced to a new perspective, to creatively imagine how you can integrate inspiration into your life is key. In this series, I will give you a new perspective. Inspiration stimulates us all to create new possibilities, to allow us to transcend our experiences and our limitations, to go beyond that, to seek more, to be able to creatively visualize who we would like to become and how we could potentially get there. Inspiration is still sometimes overlooked because of its elusive nature. Inspiration can be activated, captured and manipulated, and it's in so many of our important life outcomes, the ability to be inspired. In this series, I will provide you with an opportunity to see yourself as you would like to be. Inspiration involves a passive and an active aspect. What I will do throughout this is I will get you to get inside your creative juices. I will get you to visualize. I will get you to create. I'll get you to put yourself in someone else's shoes. I'll get you to allow yourself to see the world through the eyes of the person you'd like to become by looking at excellence within others. What I'd like you all to do is I'd like you just to close your eyes. I'd like you to imagine you're standing in front of a mirror. And in that mirror is the very best version of you. How are you standing? What are you thinking? How are you feeling in that moment? I'd like to invite you all to open your eyes again. I have a quote, and it's in the words of my favourite author. And the quote is, "You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself in any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know. And you are the one who'll decide where to go." And that's Dr. Seuss. And then again, anyone who knows me knows I love Dr. Seuss. So that's what I'll be contributing to the week of inspiration. To resilience, for me, resilience is an accolade that's savoured for the brave. It's a reward for surviving mental and physical pain. It's a continual journey of discovery and growth. And I'll be sharing that with you, and I'll be sharing what I discovered about myself and how I used that for my own personal growth. You see, resilience for me is knowing how to cope, not in spite of setbacks, but because of them. I see resilience in the eyes of the mother who's lost a son to suicide, yet still sets time in her day to help other people. I hear resilience in the voice of the young man begging on the street corner. I smell resilience in the distinct smoke coming from the crack pipe from the young girl who's coming to terms with childhood abuse. You see, for me, resilience is more than just emotional strength. It's an ability to find ways of releasing and reducing human pain. It's a way of gathering in the moment, allowing you to be steadfast and solid within yourself. So, what I would like you to ask yourself, I'd like to finish on a question, and I'd like to ask yourself, who's inspired you today? So now you've heard about my contribution to the 5-week RAISE series, I'd like to now hand you over to Ken, and he can share with you his.
Okay, Vivian, thank you very much. Is everybody inspired yet? Right. Well, my name is Ken Faulkner. Now, I'm a business and a peak performance coach, and I operate in 3 sectors. So that's the business, mind, and sport. Now, as a business coach, I endeavour to release my client from things that may be holding them back. I empower my clients to make clear decisions based on confidence and the certainty of their goals. And by using the plans and processes that they have set in place to reach and achieve those goals, rather than making decisions based on fear, judgment, doubts, worries, other apprehensions. As a mind coach, well, I run a mental health clinic in my hometown of Larne, County Antrim, and I attract clients from all over Ireland and the UK. In fact, over the last few weeks now, Zoom has really opened up this market, so it becomes much, much wider. Now, in this clinic, we work with fears and phobias and depressions, anxieties. We deal with panic attacks, OCD, post-traumatic stress disorders, and also work with addictions of various kinds and many other emotional issues, including stress and worry and self-esteem and confidence issues. Now, the third line of my work is sport, and by instilling the winning mindset into the minds of my clients. And those clients are like golfers and pool players, boxers, MMA fighters, deadlifters, even strongmen. And within the equestrian world, where the rider and the horse must have this connection, this bond, this understanding between them two. So the mind is so empowering, but yet it can be so destructive. So my presentation and input within the R.A.I.S series, firstly will be within resilience with the other 3 coaches. And then I'm going to be presenting the self-aware module. Now, this is a seminar, this is all about emotional intelligence, or as many call it, emotional well-being. And a big part of our emotional well-being is self-awareness. And that's the ability to perceive emotions. Now, both our own emotions and the emotions of other people around us. And with this awareness, we're then able to generate thought processes around those perceptions to make better decisions, to be able to realize our real intents. And then we'll be able to adjust our actions, be able to adjust our reactions, our habits, and our very behaviors. But when we're aware of and get to understand ourselves much, much more, we gain greater knowledge regarding our emotions and what causes them, what triggers them. And once we're self-aware, it does become possible to regulate our thinking processes and our feelings, and this will promote further emotional growth, further personal and professional development. Now, remember that every business decision is made by a person. And depending on how that person thinks, acts, and behaves, these decisions are going to reflect that in that person's business. So, self-awareness is also recognizing the connections of cause and effect. And that's the impact and the consequences of our behaviors on feelings and moods, and understanding how these feelings relate to performance and even the performance of others. So with self-awareness, we can develop self-appreciation, acceptance, and confidence. With this awareness, we can develop self-esteem, personal worth, values as we come to terms with our own personal attributes, our own character. We learn to recognize our personal strengths, our weaknesses, even our limitations, so we can operate with realistic life and self-assurances. Now, those self-awarenesses and having those self-awarenesses, we are then consciously aware of our personal boundaries and appropriate limits that we may take. And they're going to reflect that personal worth throughout their presentation, right through presenting themselves through our physiology, our speech, our language, as well as their actions and behaviours. Now, self-aware individuals, they tend to be able to regulate themselves, and this will be reflected in their emotional outlook in life. Those self-aware people are at the exact place that they need to be in their life to make changes. I'll say that again. Self-aware people are in the exact place that they need to be to make changes, to make decisions that will better themselves. That will better themselves, but they're also beneficial to others around them. So my name is Ken Faulkner. I will be presenting the resilience and the self-awareness module during this series of programs, which are starting on the 23rd of June. Now, just before I hand over to Una, I want to ask one question. How do your emotions, your moods, and your temperament affect your personal life and your business performance? That's worth pondering. And now I'm going to hand over to Una. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. And thanks, everyone. So my name is Una McGeoy and my business is A New Change. I'm a business coach, mentor and consultant. And I help businesses grow and leaders lead. And I suppose the first part of my business is helping SMEs start and grow their business, giving them clarity and developing strategies to help them achieve their goals, empowering change. The next part and the second part of my business is leadership and leadership coach, where I go into organisations helping them to understand what motivates their employees so they can fulfil their full potential. Helping leaders and even potential leaders gain clarity and lead with confidence, but while deepening an understanding of themselves and how they impact their teams and the wider organisation. And this is done through developing their emotional intelligence, covering off topics covering from self-awareness, resilience, and that's what I'll be covering off as well as part of this. Resilience, the ability to bounce back after failure or disappointment. So it's not about the failure, it's about the bounce back and the time it takes to bounce back and how you can bounce back quickly. I'll also be covering off empathy, and this is the topic within the R.A.I.S program I'll be covering. So what is empathy? We'll be unpacking it, we'll be developing it, and one part of empathy, I'll be covering off 3 different areas. The first one is communication skills and how we communicate. And how we communicate affects the way others respond to us. And effective communication is usually honest and open and appropriate. It enhances self-esteem and nurtures relationships and helps us in coping with stressful situations. Effective communication reflects our ability to act out of choice and helps us deal with difficult situations by allowing us to express our feelings and opinions without losing control of them. We can express our likes and dislikes, accept a compliment, knowing when and how to say yes and when to say no. It means that you can say how you feel when it's appropriate. You ask for what you need and you keep your word. So how do we communicate effectively, which we'll be covering off? The first thing, I suppose, is to seek first to understand. We're far more likely to get others to listen if we first listen fully to their viewpoint and then try and genuinely understand them. So the next topic will be active listening. Normally we listen on a surface. This means that we listen only to get enough information so we can talk about ourselves. And that's no reflection on anyone. But generally speaking, it's just the case of, swapping stories and we're not really listening to actually takes place. So we'll be developing our active listening skills. The secret to good listening is the desire to hear and understand what the other person is trying to communicate. When we do this, the other person will feel listened to. They'll feel heard, they'll feel appreciated, and they'll feel valued. When someone listens to you like this, you'll feel the same. So we'll be looking at body language, we'll be looking at eye contact and how to develop and, you know, increase our active listening skills. We'll also be looking at open questions, how to do open questions, and the difference between open and closed questions, how to get an emotional connection. Empathy is seeing the world from other people's model of the world, seeing the person from their viewpoint, understanding their values, looking at exercises to identify your top values, understanding the difference between empathy versus sympathy, and there's a big difference. So that's what we'll be unpacking. I'd like to ask you, invite you to observe other people's behaviours in the next few weeks and few days and just acknowledge it. And I'd like to hand over to Vivian, where she'll cover off back the benefits of this programme. And I'd just say thanks very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Una. As you can see, we all have very different skills. We all bring something unique, yet something so empowering and something so powerful to this project. So the 10 benefits, when you sign up to these things, it's always, I know for me, I think, well, what is in it for me? Why would I invest my time and my money in this purchase? Well, investing in us will allow you to be able to cultivate your inner strength and bounce back ability. Now, bounce back ability, we kind of looked at that and said, is that the word that we should have in there? And I think it was Sir Alex Ferguson who created that. But you know, it's the ability to bounce back. It's exactly what it says on the tin. There was no other word we could find that would capture that the way it did. We will support you to increase your capacity to cope in a crisis. I always remember in the Western world we say, panic, there's a crisis. You know, but in things like Buddhist teachings, they say, relax, it's the crisis. Because sometimes when things are out with your control, all you can do is just realise that you're in a process, and we will support you to be able to do that. We'll support you to develop and adapt your behaviours in all situations. Your behaviour is a form of communication. So if you want to communicate yourself clearly and with clarity and with calmness, your behaviour will do that for you. We'll help you to leverage your personal strengths, to create positive change, to really look inside and see the skills and the tools that you have may be transferable into something else. Every single thing you need is within you right at this moment in time. We will help you to uncover that. We'll help you to visualise the life you want, using the skills and tools within the life that you already have. Will help you to master the fluidity of the human mind. The human mind, we used to always think it was completely fixed. We used to think that by the age of 23, that was it, the brain was fully developed. There's so much research now in the fields of epigenetics and the fields of neuroscience to tell us that you can change whatever you like, you just have to believe that you're capable. There's a lot of research out there by Carol Dweck looking at the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. 4 of us all believe the bit in the middle is the most important part, and that's the belief mindset. And if you look at the word belief, right in the middle is the letters L-I-E. If you don't like something about the way your life is right now, you can bet yourself it's a lie that you've told yourself, hidden within a belief that you've lived with. And the 4 of us will help you to uncover that. We'll help you to have a conscious understanding of your own abilities, what you're really capable of. We'll give you the power to recognise your feelings, your behaviours and your moods. We'll tap into your passion and your compassion, both for yourself, other people, and the world in general. And we'll help you to understand the power of how you communicate. So how do you get involved? How do you come on board with us for this 5-week programme? And what is the investment for it, more importantly? So the investment is 1 hour every Tuesday at 5 o'clock for 5 weeks, from the 23rd of June until the 21st of July. And the investment cash-wise is $397. But we don't want to charge you that. So what we're going to do is we are doing an early bird opportunity that's available until the 16th of June. Now there's a few extra things with this opportunity. So we will take the price down to €297 and you will receive a free ebook. That free ebook will be written by the 4 of us. It's actually already been written and it's sitting there waiting for you to take up this opportunity. but we will also offer you 20% of your Holistic Academy's next course, which is currently already being developed, which is a massive saving. So if you click on the link in the chat box just now, or the follow-up email that you'll receive after this webinar, so that you can join us in this exclusive opportunity being brought to you by Your Holistic Academy.